Hello students and welcome in the online session of class 8 science chapter 7 conservation of plants and animals. We are starting this new lesson and this is the first video. So let us see which topics will be covered today. So first of all we will learn about why the conservation of plants and animals is necessary. So in the first point we will learn what is deforestation and its causes. What are then the consequences of deforestation? Conservation of forest and wildlife, then biosphere reserves, and then finally the summary of the video session. So let's start with the deforestation and its causes. Okay, so this is the first point, that why conservation of plants and animals is necessary. What is the need to conserve them? Why we have to protect the plants and animals? So the first reason for it is deforestation, right? So deforestation is nothing but the cutting of the trees on a large scale, right? Forests are cut, many of the trees are cut, all the areas are cleared away, and this is called as deforestation, right? So here you can see after deforestation how the land looks. All the plants are cut in this area, and this is called deforestation. Then what are the causes for it? Why it is happening? Okay, so cutting of the trees on a large scale, what are the causes? Why we are cutting the trees? What is the reason for deforestation? So let's find out. So there are a variety of plants and trees that exist on earth. Okay, there are a variety of plants, trees available on the earth, and the size also differs. We can find the plants of very small microscopic size to huge and tall trees also. And we all know that the plants are very essential for all the living beings. As for one of the reason that they gives us oxygen to breathe, and they takes CO2, they use the CO2 for photosynthesis. So they along with all these exchange of gases, they gives us a lot of products, right? So plants are and trees are very important. Now we have major threats to these trees, and that we call as deforestation, right? So we are cutting the trees for many of our needs, and that process is called as deforestation. So the definition is here: cutting of the trees in a large scale or large number is called as deforestation. So now let us find out why we are doing this all. So we are cutting the trees to build our houses. This is the first reason. We cut the trees because we want to make houses at those places. Then we cut the trees because we need land for factories. We cut the trees to make the furniture which we use in our houses. We use wooden furniture in our house, that is all made using the plants. So we cut trees for furniture also. Then we cut the trees for cultivation also. We need plain land for agriculture, right? Because population is increasing, so demand of the people is increasing. They need more food, they need more furniture, they need more industries, they need more other goods. So from where it will come? And for that we have to cut the trees, right? So we need because we have to grow agricultural crops, and for that we need plain lands. That is why forest areas and a number of trees are cut. So main thing that forests are being destroyed is forest fire. Forest fire is also one of the reason. Because of that, the forests are cleared on a large scale. Right, the complete fire completely burns the all over forest trees and makes it a plain area. So forest fires, which cause due to very high temperature, which are caused due to friction also, so they are the main reason for deforestation. So five reasons here we have pointed out. One is to build our houses, then to make factories, then to make furniture, then to do the cultivation, and forest fire. So these are the five main reasons because of which we are cutting the trees. Now let's see what are the consequences of deforestation. Consequences means what are the results after deforestation. If you cut the trees, then what will happen afterwards? So due to deforestation there is increase in pollution. Okay, increase in pollution, and the main gas which is causing pollution is CO2. When the fuels are burned in the vehicles, the gas which comes out is CO2. And plants are the only living organisms which can use this CO2 for doing photosynthesis. Other no organism needs CO2. Right, so what will happen if there are no plants? This CO2 level will go high in the air, causing air pollution, and this will also disturb the balance of the nature. The next, cutting trees will lead to natural calamities. More plants are cut, the soil will become barren. You can see here the soil has become very barren because, see, without trees, what will happen? All the water which is present in the soil will evaporate here, and if it will evaporate, the soil will become dry and barren and will look like this. Okay, so natural calamities, floods can also come because the roots of the plants, they hold the soil particles together. If there will be no plants, then floods will come everywhere, there will be water, because the water will not percolate in the soil, the water will not go inside the soil, because for percolation of water in the soil, plants play a very important role, because plant roots, they help in percolation of the water. So if there will be no plants, floods will come, okay, droughts will come. So this picture shows the droughts, right? Everywhere there is dry, there will be no water, there will be no trees, no life. Okay, this is drought area. Then floods can also occur, landslides also occur due to natural calamities. Okay, natural calamities means natural disasters. Then it will cause global warming. Now, because CO2 levels will rise in the atmosphere, so this will lead to greenhouse effect, and greenhouse effect leads to global warming. And if there are no trees, it will also lead to reduced rainfall, there will be less rainfall, because plant leaves, what they do transpiration, water will lost from the leaves of the plants and go upward, and these water vapors will form clouds and will bring rains. Now if there is no trees, there will be no transpiration, no cloud formation, and the rainfall will also reduce. Okay, temperature of the earth is also rising, because when the trees undergo evaporation from their leaves, evaporation gives a cooling effect. So if there are no trees, the temperature will continuously go on rising, which leads to greenhouse effect and global warming. Now, deforestation is a major cause which leads to change in the soil properties. Soil will also become barren. Soil will also become dry. It will become barren, right? Its fertility will also lose, because the top layer of the soil is holded by the roots of the plants. If there is no plant, then the soil gets eroded by wind and water, and then the fertility of the soil also decreases, right? Then another one is, due to deforestation, fertile land gets converted into deserts. Here you can see that without trees, the land becomes barren and converts into a desert. And this process is known as desertification, right? Increase in the number of deserts because of the cutting of the trees is known as desertification. Conversion of a good and normal land into deserts is called desertification. So everywhere deserts will be seen then without trees. Okay, so these are some of the consequences. Let's discuss another one. Okay, so consequences are finished here. Now next topic we have to start is conservation of forest and wildlife. How to conserve, how to protect the forest, how to protect the wildlife. When we are talking about wildlife, wildlife means plants as well as animals which are present in the forest areas. So now let's see, biosphere is that part of the earth in which living organisms exist, right? Bio means living and sphere means place. So any place where living organisms is present is called as the biosphere. So biosphere is that part of the earth where living organisms can exist and which supports the life also. Now government lays down many rules and policies to protect the forest and animals, right? Government is making many policies, government is making many of the plans, many of the projects have been started so that the forest and the wildlife can be protected, can be conserved. Now among these, the wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, biosphere reserves, etc., are the protected areas for conservation of plants and animals. So, for this sake, government has made some wildlife sanctuaries, some national parks, some biosphere reserves, okay, for the protection of forest as well as the wildlife. To protect our flora and fauna. Flora means plants and fauna means animals, right? Flora, flowers. You can learn the word like this. Flora means flowers, so we are dealing with plants, and fauna means animals. So in every area there is some flora and fauna present. Okay, so to protect the flora means plants and fauna means animals and their habitats. Okay, habitat means the place where they are living, that also has to be protected. So some protected areas are sanctuaries, national parks, biosphere reserves, they are used. Hunting and cultivation is prohibited here. So in these areas, these are all the protected areas. Government has banned doing hunting, cultivation in these areas. Which areas? Wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, biosphere reserves. Okay, these are some of the protected areas um, which are made by the government for the protection, for the conservation of forest and wildlife. Now let us see one by one what they are. So what is a sanctuary? So areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. So such areas where animals are protected mainly. Okay, the main focus is to protect the animals, and nobody is allowed to disturb the animals living in those areas and their habitats. Means plant cutting is also prohibited there. The area where these animals are living, nobody can enter, nobody has to disturb these animals, as these areas are protected and conserved, and they are called as sanctuaries, right? Sanctuaries. Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary is one of the example. So you can find many of the examples of sanctuaries, natural parks, and biosphere reserves. Okay, then these are sanctuaries. Now, areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitats and natural resources, right? So, such areas where plants are also protected and animals are also protected, and they can freely move here and there, and they can, freely use their habitat, they can freely use all the natural resources which are present there. And such areas are called natural parks or national parks. Okay, both the names you can use, either national parks or natural parks. So these are the areas which are conserved for the wildlife, for the plants as well as for the animals. Then next one is biosphere reserves. Okay, so three categories we have: sanctuaries, national parks, and biosphere reserves. So the large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plant and animal resources, and plus traditional life of the tribals. So in the biosphere reserves, everything which comes under that area, that everything is conserved, whether plants living in that area, animals living in that area, or the tribal people. If some people, tribes, okay, tribal people, if they are living in those areas, they are also conserved at that place. So such places are called biosphere reserve. So in that particular area, if anything is present inside, that everything is, conserved and protected. So they are called the biosphere reserves. Here you can see some examples. One is picture shown of Kaziranga National Park, which is in Assam. And another example also you can see here, wildlife sanctuary is there, Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. And such type of, maps are also given outside. You can see this is the core area. Dark green is the core area, means nobody is allowed to enter here in this area. Then there is buffer area, right? Buffer area means visitors can be allowed in this area. And this is transition area. Here also visitors are allowed. Then human settlement. Here these brown color dots, they show that humans are living here. Human settlements are in these areas, right? Then R is written, this is the research area. Then E is showing education and training areas. And T, tourism areas, recreation. Okay, so these are the places where tourism means people are allowed to visit. But you can see that in the core area, no visitors are allowed. Okay, in the center of these, in the core areas, nobody is allowed to enter. So this is about, so three types of protected areas we have studied. One is sanctuaries, then national parks or natural parks, and then biosphere reserves. Fine. So next topic is biosphere reserve. We are studying about biosphere reserves now. So biosphere, as the word tells, that the place where the living organisms live, whether it's a land, air, or whatever, right? So biosphere reserves are the areas which are meant for conservation of biodiversity. We are conserving biodiversity. Biodiversity means the differences present in the living organisms. Means a variety of plants and a variety of animals are preserved in these areas. All the types, all the varieties of plants are conserved, all the varieties of animals are conserved here. Okay, so biosphere reserves are meant for conservation of biodiversity. Okay, biodiversity means a variety of plants and animals present on the earth. So all these animals and plants which are in these areas, they all are conserved. So biodiversity is the variety of plants, animals, and the microorganisms generally found in an area. Biosphere reserves, they help to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area, because everything, even tribal people, are also conserved inside. So biosphere reserves, what they do, they maintain the biodiversity, they also maintain the culture which is present inside. A biosphere reserve may also contain other protected areas in it. A biosphere reserve is a very big area. It may contain some national parks inside. It may contain some sanctuaries also inside, right? But biosphere reserve is a big area. So the Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park named Satpura. Right here you can see Satpura, Pachmarhi. Pachmarhi is a biosphere reserve area in which there is a national park present inside which is called as Satpura. So in the national parks only the animals are conserved, right? So biosphere reserve is a big concept, and in the biosphere reserve some national parks or sanctuaries may be present. So this is one of the example that Pachmarhi biosphere reserve is there, in which there is a national park which is named as Satpura. Okay. Now, so we have come to the end of the session today, that we have learned about deforestation and its causes and then consequences also. Then we have studied what is the sanctuary, what is the national park, and what is the biosphere reserve. Right? In the sanctuary, mainly the animals are protected. In the national parks, plants and animals both are protected. And in the biosphere reserves, the biodiversity is protected. Biodiversity means that everything, variety of plants, variety of animals, tribal people, whoever is present in that area, that will be conserved and protected. So biosphere is the biggest concept. Sanctuaries, they protect the animals, basically national parks protects the animals as well as plant varieties. And in biosphere, all the types of wildlife plus tribal people are also preserved and conserved, right? So this is all about today's video session. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, all of you will read from your textbook. Okay, textbook reading is a must, and everyone stay home, stay safe, and keep learning.